Yeah, but we should meet sometime.
Yes, definitely, ma'am. I hope to conduct the program, the STEM program workshop in Kochi. So I should be there for at least 10 days.
Okay,
So
when is
when
it? In July, August? When is that?
tentatively planning end of August.
End of August. Oh, before Onam. Onam is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. During Onam holidays to get around that time so that we can get maximum participation from children.
Oh,
So
nice.
I will ping you at that time, ma'am.
Yes, yes, I'll come, I'll come. Kochi, I'm okay. Outside Kochi, difficult. So within Kochi,
Yes.
no problem. Any, I'm okay to come.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, can we just wait for 5 minutes for more participants to join and start at 7:05?
Yeah, okay. Can you check whether you can see my presentation? Just in
Uh,
case.
yeah, ma'am. Can you please share your screen now?
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
Can
ma'am.
you
It's
see?
visible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
visible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just wait. Your exams are over, ma'am, in your college? Exams and all are over, externals and all?
Yeah, for the college students, yeah, it is all done. Semester is done. So now
Oh,
only the convocation will happen in August.
so you
So
don't do the KTU? KTU is happening in August sometime, no?
no,
The
I don't think Amrita University follows KTU schedule. I don't think so. Because I think it's a deemed university and a private university, it has the flexibility to. So the exams, external exams, everything get finished by June. Before end of June, everything is done.
oh, okay, okay. That is nice. So, like QSAT also yesterday was our for my MTech students and BTech students. The graduation ceremony was yesterday.
Uh, so
That,
it's all done.
yeah, it's all done. Yeah, half of it was always online. I mean, my MTech students, it was almost everything online. I'm like,
Um,
did you study? I don't know, but it was nice. It was nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Yeah,
Aldo.
yeah. Actually, at first I was not able to connect my headphones when you called my name, Gayatri, ma'am.
No problem. Good
Yeah,
evening.
yeah. Good evening. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, looking forward to your session.
Ma'am, kindly let me know when we are starting and then I'll share the presentation.
Yes, ma'am. I am also waiting for a queue so that I'll get the welcome started. I guess after that I'll hand it over to you. So for sure, ma'am, I'll introduce you and hand it over to you, ma'am.
Thank
Ma'am, can we just start in 2 minutes? Just 2 minutes.
Yes, sure, sure.
Okay.
Just give us a just now it's time to start, and we'll get
Okay, ma'am.
started.
Okay, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I hope I am audible as well as visible. Uh, so, good evening, everyone. I hope you all are safe and sound, and it feels so great to see you all here. So, do you know who a master of ceremony is, or have you ever been the master of ceremony of an event? Well, the master of ceremony, or MC in short, is a person who hosts or facilitates an event. He or she literally anchors or directs the event. He is responsible for making sure the program order is being followed and should ensure that the proceedings are going on smoothly. And in a way, we can say that the major portion of the success of an event rests on the shoulder of the host. He should maintain the vibe of the event and should radiate confidence and positivity so as to keep the audience engaged and entertained. So, does being the master of ceremony seem like a daunting task? Well, fret not, because we are here to save the day. Under the banner of membership activities and speaker training, which is a project funded by the IEEE Art and Education Activities Committee, IEEE Edsoc Kerala chapter presents to you the talk Mastering the Art for Master of Ceremony. The session will be handled by our very own Professor Maya Menon, who is the design and publicity lead of IEEE Edsoc Kerala chapter. She is a professional motivational speaker, an anchor, and every event which she hosts resonates vibrance and charisma. She is also the co-founder of Mind Empowered, which is a charitable society based in India. So, to get the ball rolling and to have an auspicious beginning to a session, I would like to invite Professor Gayatri Manikudi, Women in Engineering Activist Chair of IEEE ETSO Kerala chapter, for the welcome address. So, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Akshay, for a very beautiful introduction. I think you really summarized so beautifully everything that needs to be said about Maya ma'am. She is one of the most vibrant and charismatic professional I have ever met in my life, and it's my honor that I have the opportunity to introduce her for tonight's talk. Professor Maya Menon is the founder of Mind Empowered Charitable Trust. She is also the design and publicity lead at IEEE Edsoc Kerala chapter. A superb communicator, Maya Menon adorns many hats. A postgraduate in IT from Monash University in Australia, she has over a decade of experience as an IT professional both in India and abroad. Having captivating teaching and presentation skills, she finds time both in India. She finds time to take classes for school and college students on a variety of subjects like spoken English, universal human values, cloud computing, wireless networks, and artificial intelligence. She is presently serving as a guest lecturer at the Department of Information Technology, School of Engineering, QSAT, Kochi. She is also the faculty advisor for GDSC and a GitHub campus advisor. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and a very warm welcome to all the participants who are here with us today. Thank you for joining us. Over to you, Maya, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for that wonderful welcome speech, and thank you so much, Akshay, for the glowing references. I hope I can live up to it. So, so thank you all. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk. I love talking, and I hope it's worth your while today for the presentation I have before you. And at any point of time, if any of you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I know how onlines work. 2 years down the line, nobody says anything. They just log in and they go away. And last May, photo ke liye everybody comes up. But still, I hope I can capture your attention, and I hope you sit there to actually, make it worth your while. So yeah, so I'll just quickly share. Just a second. Okay, kindly let me know if you can see this.
Yes, ma'am. We can see
Okay.
the slides.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So, masters of ceremonies. Now, before I start off, you can just raise your hand or maybe put it in chat because that's what you're good at. How many of you have ever done this? Have you ever hosted an event? Any one of you, or many of you? Can you just? Oh yes, I see, ma'am. Anybody else? If you want to put it in chat, yes, no, whatever. Yes. Oh, I have a few people who are already emceeing. Very good. I see Alna, Dia. Great. Anybody else? Yes. Okay. So tell me, how many of you had all butterflies and jitters just before the event? You're like, oh, I don't know, I might forget. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am is there raising her hand. Yes, me. Yes, me too. I was giving this presentation. I cannot even see anybody's face, and still I have jitters. So you can imagine how jittery I am. I'm so thankful this is an online and not an offline. Offline gives more jitters. Yes, I see a lot more people. Abisha, Elizabeth, Anushri. Yes, I know. It's so, scary. So what I'm trying to do today with my presentation is hopefully make it a bit easier for you so that it doesn't seem like a daunting task, like Akshay said. And hopefully, you start mastering the art and captivating people with your speech. So let's see. Alrighty. So this is what normally happens. So here's the scenario. He's the only one we could get to be master of ceremonies. So this is what normally happens. I mean, I have hosted events, I have planned events, and I have been a part of events. And normally, if I ask for an initiative, well, I don't have a board with me, but nobody really stands up. Nobody's even interested in taking the initiative to do it because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of buts and ifs, right? So, how not to be in this state and how to actually take the initiative and go there and do the master of ceremonies on your own. So, let's see. Now, what does this position require? So, I just put it as, like you people being college students, whenever you are looking for a particular designation of a job, they say what it requires. So, that's exactly, I thought I'll put it this way so it seems very familiar to you. What does this position require? A lively, animated personality. Yes, somebody who's hyper, like me. Okay. So, that's not okay. Any of these is not really a given, not really necessary, but it adds on. So you cannot say, oh, I'm an introvert personality, so I cannot host events. No, that's just an excuse. That's not really it. So it's not necessary for you to be an extrovert. It's not necessary for you to be all super energetic and things like that. But a lively, animated personality helps. Okay? Good public speaking. Now you need to speak well, fluently, whether it's Malayalam, whether it's English, Hindi, whatever language you're communicating with, you need to be fluent in that. I would say is a necessity. Okay, can't have your thoughts. Now, suddenly, if somebody from you, one of you says, "Ma'am, I cannot understand your English. Can you translate to Malayalam?" I will be like, I'm not very thing to answering. So, all public speaking is not necessarily English. So, it could be that you are actually event for maybe somebody who speaks Gujarati or you're studying for a Hindi community or a Malayali community, whatever. And language that you are going to use to speak. The ability to handle unanticipated situations. What does that mean? Okay, panic attacks. All of us get it. We all get very panicky. Oh my god, what happened? The speaker is not coming, the mic is not working. My
Ma'am, I'm sorry to but is your voice breaking or is it just for me?
No, ma'am. I think you in the last 1 minute we couldn't hear you, Maya, ma'am. I mean, when you started talking about ability to handle unanticipated.
Uh,
Yeah, maybe network issue.
okay,
Maybe network issue. So you can switch off the video and just a trial. If it is network issue, you can switch off the video, turn off the video and speak. Just try. If the network is okay, fine, no problem.
Hello everyone, could you please just wait for a few minutes for our ma'am to join? She is just having network issues. She'll be continuing the session shortly. And in the meantime, while we wait for Maya ma'am to rejoin, Gayatri ma'am, could you please, if possible, recount your experience of how it was when you hosted an event for the first time?
Oh gosh. Okay. The first when I joined Amrita, we had the opportunity to host an IEEE conference. It was called Raha, that is Robotics and Automation for Humanitarian Applications. And I was one of the co-hosts of that conference with several international speakers. It is something like the IndieCon conference that we will be having this year. And it was totally terrifying to be on the stage with experts from all over the world. And I must say that I mean, as I was even walking up to the stage, I actually tripped and fell, and it was like I was totally a wreck of nerves only at that particular point in time. But the good thing is that these experiences helps you learn. So as Maya ma'am was just touching upon it, you really don't expect the host to trip and fall when they are going up to start speaking, or to introduce, give the welcome to the conference. So you learn to take it, and you learn to say it's okay, and try to regain composure. So I don't know, I'm the best example on this, but I'll tell you that it was quite nerve wracking. That's how I would say, Akshay. I will invite others also to maybe share a couple of thoughts on it, how it was when they hosted. I don't know if it is okay, Akshay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ma'am.
it's fine. And our Korut Varghese sir is with us. Korut sir.
Welcome, welcome, sir.
Yes, sir. I just joined only, sir. So I have not heard anything.
No problem.
But
No
no
problem.
problem,
Yeah.
sir. Just
I've been
I was just listening
no,
only.
very much happy to note that you are joined. You have joined.
Yeah, I started joining, sir, for a long time. I was away. Now I starting on this one. Okay. And here also there was a lot of network issue was there. So beginning I could not listen to the whole thing. Anyway, let me send it back. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, Maya,
Hello.
ma'am.
Hi.
Actually,
Welcome
she has
back, ma'am.
reserved now, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine. Fine. Fine.
Unanticipated
Fine.
problems. I practically wanted to show. That is why this happened.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. I'll share my thing once more. Hold on. Just a second. No, 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 no. Here you go. Kindly go and see this. And if there is any audio problem, kindly let me know.
The presentation is visible, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so see, yes, practical lessons. That's right, Anna. See, that's why all this drama was created so that you get some practical lessons out of it. So you who all are sleeping, not good night yet. Please get up. So just wanted to say that. Yeah, okay. So let's get back to business. I'm so intelligent, yeah. That's what I do with students. I know you guys. That is why lot of energy. That's the next thing. You need to have that. Drink your milk, eat your food. Very necessary. Okay. So let's get on. So now let's the lighter vein, remove the lighter vein, and go to the serious side. So now, what is the MC responsible for? Obviously opening and closing. So here it's written competition, but it's not just a competition. It could be an event. It could be a business formal meeting. It could be some workshop. It could be a panel discussion where there are such eminent speakers. So the higher the eminency of the speakers, I might add, it will actually create more jitters. Correct? Because you've got to do the introduction for the speakers. If there's a competition, obviously there's judges, teams. But even if there's like an annual function or a wedding ceremony, there are some events that are happening, or any cultural functions. These you necessarily need to talk at every point of time. So how do you go about it? Now, before we go into what we have to do, what basically makes it a daunting task? Let me ask you a question. Okay, all of you, just put it in chat. Why do you feel it's daunting? let's see. Why do you think emceeing is so daunting? Why it scares you? Why you get butterflies? Anybody, just put it in chat. Any one person. Or two or three. Doesn't matter. Yes? Come on. Why do you think it's daunting? Why do you think it's challenging? You don't think it's challenging? You think it's very easy? You think it's fun? Yes? No?
Ma'am, I think it's because we are scared of making mistakes.
Ah, yes. You're scared of making mistakes. Very good, actually. Very nice. Anybody else? Because you are on center stage. Yes, ma'am. True. Because you are on center stage. You know, center of attraction. Many people like it, but many people are very scared of it too. You don't want to make mistakes. Yes, true. So, some of it I have covered in two comics which I found, comic strips. One being this, your fear that everybody will run away as soon as you start speaking. See all those empty chairs, only a mom is still there saying, hey, nice job. You know, you have this fear deep rooted in you that, oh my God, if I say something, you know, I need an audience to talk about. So what if everybody just, you know, walks away in the middle of my presentation? It's a very valid fear. So if not this fear, the next fear is surely there, which talks about, you know, people dozing off. And that is a very thorough explanation of my theory of how to keep an audience awake. So we can see how successful his theory was, right? So these are the two major factors. You want to keep your audience interested, and you don't want them to go away. You want them to be captivated by what you talk. That is important, correct? So what is an MC for? If you're talking about MC, there. Oops, sorry. So what is an MC force? So they have a lot of different duties, right? Introduction, going through different segments. So I will not. I will go into each of them, not in too much detail. I don't want to bore you. It's a Saturday night, but I will tell you the important points. So for any of you who have never done this, just go through these points and maybe you will, you know, there's always a first time for everything. I tell everyone, if you have, get out of your comfort zone and you will surprise yourself. So timekeeping is an important part for an MC, okay? And obviously there are some introducing speakers, doing the question answer session, all those things are there. But most important than any of this is that you need to keep your audience interested. It's a very difficult task, believe me. 2 years of online corona times taking classes, I know nobody listens. So offline, people, you know, I know people having ability of sleeping with their eyes open. So that's why we need to ensure how to get the audience interested. That is a very, very, very important point. So I will take you through all this so that you guys can do the same things, and hopefully your idea or your audience are still glued to their seats. Okay. So as an MC, this is what happens. So you think, acha chalo, I have to go talk. The room is going to love you. Just be funny, serious, modest, and cocky. How can you be all of this? That's exactly what an MC is. You have to play a lot of different parts. It's like a drama where you have to play these parts. So when you're introducing a speaker, you have to show your serious side. But in between segments, you have to show your fun side. So there you have to balance that. And that is what an MC does. So one person being all of this, yes, it's quite possible. Well, with a lot of practice and rehearsal, yes, but it is quite possible. So let's see. The very first thing, before the event starts, you need to know your event. What is the event? So if I am actually preparing for, say, a farewell or a birthday party or, you know, wedding ceremony, they're all very different than when I'm preparing for maybe, say, a panel discussion or an organizational meetup where it's a bit more formal. So you have to know your event. You have to know what exactly you are going to host. what kind of people are coming, what kind of audience is there, all those things you need to do, because the atmosphere, the ambience is created by you. So you need to know what your event is all about. Okay. Next thing, you need to know your responsibilities. Now, what do I mean by responsibilities? So, as an MC, it's not only necessary that you cater to the guest speakers or whoever is on the dais or whoever is the panelists, but also to your target audience. You need to know how well to gel with both these, like talking very respectfully to the speakers, talking in a jovial manner to the audience. So you need to balance your responsibilities, and all times keep a check on the time. So, like I said, 10 minutes went off in that practical experiment of trying to show you that have presence of mind. Breathe in. Anything goes wrong, network down. It's okay. It was all a part of what I was planning to do anyway. You bring it all in. So, you need to ensure that you keep a check on the time. You don't want to go over the time. Okay. So, and you have to ensure that for all the speakers. So, that's one big responsibility that you have. The third thing. So now, when we're talking about, when we are talking about your role as an MC, there are some expectations from your role. So the expectation is, because you are the host, you are the one who knows the flow of the entire evening or the morning or whatever of the entire event, right? So at all times, you don't lose your presence of mind. At all times, you're like, yeah, that was already a part of the event we were thinking of. So you have to have that smile on your face, and not just on your face. You have to also start thinking coolly. So it's not like not like that. You're not like it's natural. So you have to ensure that you don't hit the panic button. Correct? That's one of the most important things. The other thing also being that you have to ensure, just because you are the host, you're not just talking about yourself all the time. You are not the one center stage. You are there to give a good uh, ambience. You're there to give a good experience to everybody. So the others are also valued, equally valued. Not only your speakers, but also your audience. You have to value them, give them that respect equally. It's not just, oh, okay, I'm just going to talk all about it. Now I got the mic. I see some people, when they get the mic, that's it. Full time, they're just talking about themselves. No, don't do that. Don't hog the stage. Don't do that. Okay? You need to ensure you give equal amount of time and respect to the speakers as well as the audience. The next thing, do your research. Now, this is so important that you do your research. Okay, so I come here, I just, I remember some speaker names, and maybe I made a mistake there with the designation of the. Whoops, that was my mic. Okay, maybe I made a mistake with the designation or the say the his organization or his name or his or her name. That is a very big mistake. You cannot do that. So please do your research. You cannot just flippantly talk, oh yeah, this person from here or that person from there. See, most of the time people don't mind. But there are times when people do mind. And they're like, how dare that person talk about me like that? This is not my designation. That is so unknowingly, you could actually, make someone get very defensive. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to get on the wrong side or the wrong footing from the beginning. So that's why it's necessary whenever you are introducing, whether it's a speaker, whether it's a judge, whatever, whoever are your guests, your special guests, ensure that you do your research about what all they have done and what all you would like to put forth as an MC about them, what part of their life you would like to shed light on. So do your research. That's very important that you do the research. Also, the research could also be about your target audience. Now, suppose I am emceeing at a graduation ceremony, okay, or let's say a farewell. Let's call it a farewell, okay, farewell time. So it's all young crowd who's there. When I'm emceeing, I would rather choose jokes or anecdotes or stories which relate to students. If I start talking about business, would anybody relate to me? No, nobody will. They're like, what is the host talking about? So you need to ensure you find out who your target audience is, and then you accordingly, talk about it. So now, you saw a few comics that I put earlier. Some of you who were still awake, you saw that. So why did I put comic strips? Because that catches attention, correct? So you want to catch attention. You want and but if I had to give like a corporate presentation, I don't think I will be using the same slides. Why? Because that's more formal. There is a different way. So if I'm talking to maybe corporates, the way I MC will not be the same way I MC when I'm talking to college students. So ensure you not only do research about the speakers, but also your target audience. If you have some jokes to share or anecdotes or stories, because you will have to have a stock of those as well. In between speakers, before transitioning, you want to build a rapport with your audience. So you should, slip in something here and there. For that, you need to know what your target audience is all about. So do your research. The next thing, stay organized. So what do I mean by stay organized? So you need to make that script. You cannot just talk. Yeah. I'll just I'll just go there and just I'll try and say whatever comes at the top of my mind. No. You have to make a proper script, even if it is for a simple thing as a farewell. You need to ensure that you have a rough script in your mind, okay, and you need to ensure. So suppose you're like, okay, I'm talking for 5 minutes, and then and then the speaker comes in and everything. So you need to ensure you have a margin, a time margin, because it's quite possible. There are so many technical issues. The mic is not working, lighting is not okay, the speaker is coming in late. What do you do then when the speaker comes in late? So 10 minutes, you have to blabber. You cannot blabber. You have to talk, right? So you have to engage the audience. So what do you do? So you need to have a backup. You need to have some backup script in your mind. Oh, in case the speaker says, oh, I'm stuck in traffic, it will take me 10 more minutes, and already the first speaker is done. The second speaker has not yet come in. What do? You need to ensure that you fill up that gap very smoothly. You have to fill it up. It's not like, okay, everybody's just waiting for that other guy to come. No. Or even if it's an annual function where you are MC, or any other function where you have all these different cultural programs coming up. And there is, this one team like, okay, you're just getting dressed, it will take some more time. So do something, 5 minutes. So you have to have, so 5 minutes, what will you do? You won't start doing Kathakali there, right? You need to do something, you need to say something. You need to engage the audience. So it could be either by you telling stories or anecdotes, or it could be by asking questions as well. We will talk about that. We will talk about how to engage the audience. But yeah, when you stay organized, you know in your mind, okay, I have only this much time, or I have so much time left to cover. So I need to fill up this much time. There should be some fillers. There should be enough time for, introduction and also in your mind, you should have a rough script and stick by it, so that there's no delay in the program. You say the program starts at 3, it should not start at 4. It should start at 3, right? And even if it starts at 3, you're not just wasting your time away. So stay organized. The opening, welcome, and introduction. Now, this is one of the most important parts, and I will tell you why as well. So when we are talking, when we initially come on stage, I will talk about that later, but first we'll talk about this welcome and introduction. Now, when you're welcoming the audience, you're talking about the guests who are coming in, whatever, good evening, good morning, whatever. And you do give an introduction of yourself. Now, I've seen a lot of people who forget to introduce themselves. And I'm not saying introduction means, okay, from the age of 10, I was doing that. And you don't go all that. Just 2 lines is enough about yourself. But you need to at least say, hi, I'm so and so. I'm the host for the evening or whatever. So you need to introduce yourself, however briefly, but you need to introduce yourself. Some people even forget that. So ensure you don't forget that. And you need to outline the agenda briefly. What do you mean by that? Now, in your mind, you have the agenda. Okay, so there are like 3 programs, then there's a short break, and then 2 programs, then there's lunch, whatever. But don't you want to tell that to the audience? Because the audience should also be prepared of what is going. So even if you give at least a rough estimate, you don't need to give, okay, there are 3 programs, and then no, you don't need to say that. A few programs will break at around this time, and then reconvene, and then go ahead with the next set of programs. But at least they know. A rough outline is enough. So again, briefly. So you don't want to take up too much time with all this. You're telling about yourself just a bit, maybe. You're telling about the agenda again a bit, because you are not the person who's going to talk. There are 10 other speakers waiting there to talk. So you don't want to crunch into their time, right? So, but you need to do all this so that the audience knows what to expect. That is important. Now that we've finished the pre thing. Let's go to what happens during. So you've done your research. You know who your target audience is. You have already had a rough script in the mind. So you're all kind of you know what are your expectations and how you are going to go about it. So all that is there in your mind. And now comes the real thing, where you have to go and start, doing the actual event hosting. Now, this is where a lot of jitters come. Remain calm. Easier said than done. Believe me. When I have to go to classes and I have to take a normal class. I mean, wireless or cloud or whatever that it is that I'm teaching. I like to make eye contact with students, basically to see whether they are, sleeping with their eyes open or in another la la land or whatever. So I ensure I make eye contact. But there are some people I know who don't like making eye contact. So you could be one of them. You feel uncomfortable. So you're like, I've seen some students when they do their presentations, they're like, we won't look at our friends because we'll start laughing or we'll feel very self-conscious. So they won't make any eye contact. So don't make eye contact if you're uncomfortable with it. But look above them. So when you are, so suppose I'm giving a speech or I'm the MC and I'm just maybe, if I'm not walking around, if I'm just standing at one place and still MC, I'm at least looking. I'm doing a big, scanning of the crowd. But I'm not really looking at them. I look just above their head, maybe at that wall, or at that wall at the back, or the wall at the side, because I get very nervous when I see people. When I have to have eye contact with them. So that's perfectly fine. So don't think that eye contact is a must. If it makes you uncomfortable, don't do it. But at least scan the crowd. Look at the wall. They won't even realize the difference because they'll feel you are including everyone. Not scanning like this. You're not a robot. You're not going to scan like that. Look at people. You look that side, and after some time, look there, and then look there. So everybody feels involved. That is important. Now, suppose you forget your line. Suppose I've practiced it very hard, rehearsed it all, and then suddenly I forget what comes next. So after the quote, I was supposed to say something, and suddenly my mind is blank. Then what? What do I do? Don't just stand there like a statue. Don't just keep there. Then the people will be wondering what happened. If you've forgotten it, just make up something out there. People don't know your script. They don't know what originally you were planning to talk. So you can make it happen that this is actually what you plan to talk. So if you give it too big a pause, they'll know there's something, right? And suppose something happens. You're talking and you fall down, or maybe the mic goes down, or something. See, we are humans. Anything can happen, right? So you can make a light of it. I mean, you can joke around, oh, such a clumsy person I am, or whatever. Just make a joke about it and go ahead with it. And people will be like, oh, okay, this person, because it happens. And people may laugh with you and everything, but the situation is done over. But you have acknowledged the situation. So it's not like there's something happening and you are like ignoring it. No, you've acknowledged it. Oh yeah, I fell down. So what? Happens. It's okay. So don't get all flustered. The whole point is stay calm. Very important. Very important. Prepare the opening of the event. Now, what happens? What I have seen from my experience also, the first minute of your presentation is the most important. Whatever, I mean, you're not presenting, you're an MC, but still, whatever, you go on that stage, the very first minute is all you get to either get the attention or lose the attention. Maybe you'll lose it in the second minute, but the first minute you got it, right? So you need to do something in that first minute to grab their attention. If you go say hello, namaste, I am so, people are already sleeping. This is hardly 10 seconds and you've already put people to sleep. What a great thing you have here, great talent you have. No, you should not. So what you should do, either use some kind of props or maybe some anecdotes or stories, something to, liven up the audience. Or you could ask them some question, quiz them about something, or say something, or ask them something, which can be, which will get a return back. You say something which is, people are like, oh no, that's not how it is. They have to respond. Put out something out there so that there is some reaction, and then you have their attention. Even if it is for a short while, you have their attention. That is how you open an event. Okay, so people are like, okay, so this person is interesting. Maybe I'll listen for 2 more minutes. That's okay. It's +2 for you. Whether it is 2 minutes or 5 minutes, you got them. And in between, you need to ensure that you get them. So what do you need to do? You need to ensure that maybe in between speakers or in between events, you just try and relate to them, try and ask them things, or try and, so it's easier offline than online, I would say. Online, everybody is like logged in and gone, and so offline is much easier. You can just, if you're an MC, just ask someone something or say something, and you can see the reaction of people, and then go ahead. And then slowly, so maybe whether it's an anecdote or a story or whatever, don't make it a big story. It's not Ramayana. Okay. You just make a small story and then get them hooked, and then go on to, okay, so let's come to today evening session or whatever. And then you start. So you need to prepare very well for that. You get the audience interested, half the battle is won right there. Introducing the speakers. So once you have opened the event, everybody is all ears to listen to you. Then you start introducing the speakers, and be very, very, very careful about their full names, their designations, their organizations, because it's not okay to mess it up. It's not okay. It's certainly not okay. Whatever be the event, be it a school event, be it a college event, be it a professional event, it's not okay to mess up the speakers, whatever. I mean, they might not be very hard and fast about it, but there are some people who are, and you don't want to start anything on the wrong foot. Correct? So introduce the speaker, and then the speaker will start speaking. Or so I just put this for a speaker, but if you're talking about an annual function or a wedding ceremony or whatever, where you have some cultural activities happening, you can just say, okay, so now we are having this activity, so you're just giving a opening statement about, okay, this is the dance that is going to come by whatever these people, and they are going to show a street play or whatever, so this is what they are going to do, and then the stage is open for them. Okay, now normally during the presentations, so after the first speaker speaks, when you're talking to the next speaker, you have to ensure that the speakers don't overspill over their time. So if it is a time, say 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., the speaker is going on and on, that's not done. So what I normally suggest my students is like, you talk to the speaker beforehand. Suppose you know that it's a 1 hour presentation, You tell the speaker it's 45 minutes with 15 minutes of Q&A. So that way, even if the speaker spills up a bit, we can always cut short on the question answers and still make it on time. So it's very necessary that, and if suppose the speaker is like, okay, 45 minutes, I have a 45 minutes out there for you. That's also okay. So you have more time for question answers. Another thing you need to keep an eye for is for unpleasant questions. Now it's quite possible some of them just want to rile up the speaker, or they're just doing it just for the heck of it. So you need to cut them short to ensure that the speaker doesn't get a bad vibe. So you need to be very alert. So it's question answer session. You don't just pass on the questions. You are also listening in. You're also listening into the questions, and if you feel that there is some question which is which might make the speaker feel a bit uncomfortable, you will cut them short right there, and you'll say, okay, so now we'll just move on since there's a time, so that the speaker is not put in the spot. It's very important, and believe me, the speaker will be very grateful to you for doing that, and an MC can do that. So ensure when you are a host, you not only take into consideration just whatever there is, and when the speaker is speaking, that's not time for you to relax. That's time for you to listen into what the speaker is saying, so that when the speaker finishes, you can at least say one line about, oh, this is what that person said, quote unquote, so that you can tell the audience about a takeaway. Oh, that was a great session, or that was a fantastic dance by this, whatever. So you are actually giving your opinion to, along with the takeaway of the speaker. So it's necessary that you listen in as well, not only the speaker's presentation, but also to the question sessions. Then you are the bridge between the segments. So what does that mean? So in between speakers, you want to lighten the mood, or in between two activities, you want to ensure that, okay, there's like three group music happening, then there is dance, but group music, people are getting bored. So you just do some quizzing, you just do something to make it okay. So how many people here do this or do that? So you are trying to do a poll survey, something on the spot, so as to make it very lively. Okay, the fifth person get up, and okay, what's your name? So you are trying to engage the audience. That is very, very necessary, that you engage the audience and be that bridge, so that transition from one speaker to another. So one speaker has finished, you have told, oh, so this speaker said this, that is wonderful. Before going on to the next speaker, maybe you just share something about the old speaker or the new speaker, and then go on to the new speaker. So in between, you're engaging the audience as well. So the audience feels like, oh yes, we are a part of this, and don't feel completely spammed by speakers or whatever. Or even if it's an event, to feel a part of it. So how did you like it? What do you feel? So give me a shout or whatever. So when you're saying like that, your energy gets translated to your audience, and they it gets transferred. So you can do that as an MC, and you can make it a high power, high energy show. Now be prepared for anything. So we already spent 10 minutes on the practical side of this. Be prepared for anything. Yes, no network, no, whether it's online or offline. So offline, there are many, many issues that can come up. So always be prepared. So suppose the speaker doesn't turn up. Suppose something really tragic happens, and the speaker lost someone or whatever, an accident, whatever. What do you do then? There's audience waiting. So you need to ensure that you have a backup plan. Always. Maybe you'll never use your backup plan in 20 years, but always have a backup plan. So, the stage is not just blank out there. Okay? So ensure that you are prepared for it. And the last and very, very important thing is closing the event. Now, everybody has spoken, all the dances are done. You don't want this to happen. The good news is that the end isn't anywhere as near as I thought. Okay, you don't want to keep talking after everything is done. You still talking, and they're like, oh God, when will this guy finish talking? You don't want that. And towards the end, so now suppose you're organizing, say, wedding ceremonies or whatever, so there might be buses going, so you can say, okay, this bus leaves at this time. So those things, those
Hello. Is ma'am's audio breaking right now? Gayatri ma'am, is her audio break? Are you able to hear her?
Yes, I think she again got cut.
Okay. So everyone, just wait for 2 minutes. I think she'll just get back soon after rectifying the network connectivity issue. Maya ma'am, are we audible to you? I think we are not.
Maybe Akash, while we are waiting, we should continue the question you had posed to me earlier to the audience now, as Maya ma'am has just given us, some important tips like being prepared for the unexpected. So, do you think it's a good idea, Akshay?
Yeah, ma'am. I think we should definitely be prepared for any problems that we may face while hosting an event just like this. And ma'am, can we just start ask other people to share their experiences, just like how you shared before? Can we do that, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. I think it's a good idea. I think it was, I don't remember everybody who said that they had done the emceeing before. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe Alna,
Uh,
Dia, would you want to unmute yourself and share your experience? What it was like to MC?
Well, hello everyone. Myself Dia, and I was once an MC for an online event. It was during the Corona time. I started my VTech, and it was during that time I joined IEEE, and that's when we started to conduct events. And uh, it was during one such event I hosted, and I was an MC. And it was, and as ma'am said, it was jittering at first, and I didn't know what to do just before. If the meeting was at 7, just at 6:59, my heart will be beating so fast. But once 2 minutes after that, once you're in the flow, it will be okay. And that was my first experience. Thank you.
Wonderful. Very so candidly put. Thank you, dear. That was really wonderful to hear from you on that. Alna or Amisha, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, would you also like to share your experience, Alna?
Oh, that's pretty funny, ma'am. Well, I'm sure if I share that, all of you will laugh. Well, the first time I became a host was back in school. I think it is like ninth or 10th standard. We had this community, you know, development program where we as a bunch of kids we went to interact with our Kudumbasri Chechis. I think most of you are familiar with the Kudumbasri scheme. We have this community of women who work together under the municipality and all. They come and clean the places. So we were supposed to go take a class for them, and I was like pretty nervous because that was the very first time I am being a host, a speaker. That too, I was too young because the people I'm gonna interact with are way more older than me. So I have to keep them entertained. What happened was when I went there, the excitement and the adrenaline rush was at the peak, and I fumbled everything. So if I was supposed to say A, I ended up saying B, C, D, and everything except A. And in the end, they were like, "More nannai parnu," and I was like, "Okay, ma'am." Thank you so much, because they were so patient with me, and I could see their helplessness too. And I was like, "Thank you so much for listening to me." And then I winded up the speech. That's my first experience.
Did my mom just join now and
I think my MM joined and saved me on time.
Maya ma'am, are you there? Ma'am, are you
This
there?
time it happened.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am,
I
I hope the issue is rectified now. And in the meantime, we were just sharing our experiences of being the host for the first time.
Oh, I missed that. Oh my god. You know what happened? I did not even know when I logged off. And I finished it. I said 7:57 and I finished. See, I finished on time. I said thank you. And I'm like, ah, there's nobody here to say thank you to everyone.
My MM, you are giving too many practical lessons about being a master of ceremony.
What to do? What to do? So where did we stop? Sorry, I'm so sorry.
I
Ma'am,
am
Where did we
so
stop?
sure.
I
I am so
think,
sure that my MM is against theory classes because she is taking practical so much.
Yes, yes.
ma'am,
It's only
I think you reached the 18th slide.
Ah, see, now I know how many people were actually listening. This was not for practical, this was for listening part. Oh, did she finish or not? Very good. Okay, 1 second. I don't know. Is this the slide 16? No, we finished that. The end is near. Is that where we were?
Yeah, the closing part. You said you were talking about how to keep it brief and yeah.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you. So, yes, the computer decided to shut down. So, yes, so yeah, you need to wind it up properly. So, you need to be, I think I told about this, right? So, ensure that you thank everyone. You thank the technicians, you thank the speakers, you thank the people who are listening in, because every contribution is a valid contribution. So you need to ensure that. And this is what you want to end with. You want to breathe, speak well throughout, and leave them breathless. That's what you want. You don't want to be breathless. Ah, I finished. Oh, that's not what you want. You want to leave them breathless. You want to leave them. You want them to be captivated. So, yes, with all the beautiful practical sessions, I wind up 3 minutes later. But yes, it was all planned. I had already planned it this way, actually. So that's why it happened this way. So thank you. Thank you so much. So, yes. Yeah, I missed
Ma'am,
on your, experiences. I feel sad about that.
ma'am, really thank you, ma'am, for your great session. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure all the participants who attended the session will successfully be master of ceremonies of various events in the future.
Hope so. Fingers
And
crossed.
yeah,
Too many practical sessions. I agree.
and
Yes. He had to stay awake, no? Otherwise, I'll ask him which slide. He said 18th slide. 100 marks to you.
okay, ma'am. And also, before we proceed further, I would like to rectify a mistake of mine because after attending your session, I realized that I should introduce myself by hosting an event. I have never done that before. so,
Yes, you should. You
so
should always.
uh,
Always. Everybody should. I mean, I didn't say it yours like that. Means I didn't realize you did introduce because I knew you were Akshay, but I've seen it happen in actual like big events. They just don't. You cannot take a person for granted that they know. Okay, you might be very, very, known personality, but you should always introduce yourself. You learn something new.
yeah.
That's good.
So again, hello everyone. My name is Akshay, and Akshay Aris, and I am a student of Government Engineering College, Barton Hill, and
Woo!
I am I'm the membership development coordinator under Travancore Hub of IEEE Edsoc.
Okay. Nice to know you. Very good.
Okay, ma'am. And before we get into the Q&A session, let's take a virtual photograph.
Okay.
And for that, I would like to request you all to turn on your cameras and show us your happy faces.
Yay,
And
finally we'll see who all are still awake.
and Ashwin Chetan, could you please do the honors of taking the picture?
Yeah, sure.
Everyone, could you please turn on your cameras if you haven't till now? Ashwin Chetan, could you please do a countdown if possible?
അനിൽ
Yeah,
സാറിന്റെ
sure.
ക്യാമറ ലാപ്ടോപ്പ് ഒന്ന് അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്താലേ നന്നായിരിക്കും സാറിന്റെ. ആ, റൈറ്റ് റൈറ്റ് റൈറ്റ്.
So, guys, are you ready? We'll be taking the photograph in three, two, one.
Please.
Cheese. Okay, it's done. Thank you all. Over
Okay,
to you, Akshay.
okay, so thank you
And
everyone. You may,
yeah.
Kasim sir, you may proceed if you have anything to talk.
So okay, please continue.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. So thank you everyone for turning on your cameras, and just remember, participation certificates will be provided only to those candidates who fill the feedback form, which will be posted in the chat box after the vote of thanks. And now let's move on to the Q&A session. So if you have any queries on your mind regarding the topic, or if you have anything in general to ask the speaker, do feel free to unmute yourself and ask the question. And you may also post your queries in the chat box. Everyone, could you,
No queries. Too many practical sessions now, so no queries.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes, dear.
can I ask a question?
Sure, sure. Ask away.
You know,
Ask
it
for
is,
them.
it is,
Yeah.
yeah, the classes are, too many practical classes, so there won't be any doubt at all. But then I managed to come up with one so
Good
that,
girl.
you can answer.
Yes, tell me.
Well, ma'am, the question is, it's really hard to keep the presence of mind when we are being the master of ceremonies, right?
Yes, it
So,
is.
it's too challenging to be on, position. So, are there any breathing exercises or anything of that sort to calm ourselves?
No, I'll tell you what. You see, when you are a master of ceremony, yes, breathing exercises are there, but more importantly, you should have one person who knows everything just the way you do, the sequence of events and everything. Your go-to person. You should always have one go-to person with you. Okay. I mean, I didn't cover that, but it's not necessary. That's why I didn't cover it. But it always helps for me also. Like one person who is there who might not even be in the actual event, but someone who knows all the like okay, these speakers are coming or whatever, who has the same similar knowledge about the event as you, maybe your best friend. Okay, what happens is, suppose a speaker is not coming, or suppose something happens, you can always call that person. And it's very normal to panic. It's very normal to go, I don't have the presence of mind, what do I do? But when you talk to another person who already knows all the, the scenario beforehand, you're not explaining the scenario, you're just calling and saying, hey, speaker number two not there. You yourself might find the solution, but when you talk it out to another person is when you can get that, oh yes, maybe I can do this. When we are talking it out, you know. So always have a go-to person. One other person who knows the entire thing, the entire script, the entire thing just like you. Maybe that person will never be needed. But if in case of an emergency, that person is needed, because it's quite possible that you make the situation okay, but you forget your next lines. And you don't know. So, or maybe you forget that anecdote or story you were supposed to come up with. But if you have that friend with you, not necessarily immediate exercises, yes. Breathing exercises, yes. Deep breaths. Now, I would recommend it for everyone, not just for emceeing, but even for speakers.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes. for your
Your voice is
interviews, your
breaking again.
placements when they come.
Yeah, please repeat. Please
Ma'am,
repeat.
and if possible,
Just
could you
before
please
you
t-
enter
m-
that,
ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think it would be
yeah,
helpful if
sorry.
you could turn off your video. Ma'am, am I audible to you? Hello?
Akshay used the chat that might help
Okay.
him. He is not able to.
Voice is breaking.
Yeah, ma'am, your voice broke in the middle.
Okay.
And, ma'am,
Can
if possible, if oh no, ma'am, if possible, could you please turn off your video? So I think that
Is
will
this better? Can you
help
hear
you.
me better now? Is this better? I switched off my
Yeah,
video.
ma'am, we are. Yeah,
Better?
yeah, ma'am, we are able
Hello?
to hear you
I'll,
now. Could you? Yeah, ma'am. Hello.
I did it.
Uh,
Yes, I already did it.
Yeah,
Hello?
ma'am.
Can you hear
It's
me?
absolutely fine.
Hello?
yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. We are able to. I think she is lagging. The network is
I
lagging.
turned it off.
uh,
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
ma'am. Okay, I think she's still having issues with the network connection. And I think all of your queries have been answered, right? Because we only had one query and that was answered. Okay, she just left the meeting. She'll be joining us in a minute, I think. We can just wait for 1 minute and continue with the proceedings of the event. Ah, yeah, she joined now. So, ma'am, are you able to hear us now?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
ma'am.
Can you hear?
Yeah, ma'am, we are able to hear. There are a few breaks in between, but that's okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can we continue with the proceedings of the session? Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Ma'am, we are able to hear you now, ma'am. Now, ma'am,
Okay.
are you able to hear us?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Okay. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. I live in a I live in a village called Kochi.
Okay.
So, so that's why no network. What to do?
That's okay, ma'am.
BSNL.
It's perfectly fine, ma'am. So, does anyone of you have any more queries now?
No, so I was just telling, I can you hear me now clearly? I was just telling for the placements, you guys will have placements at some point of time. When you get into the interview room, just before you get in, do deep breaths. I compulsorily make my students do it before they get in. Yeah, you won't believe it makes a big difference. Really deep breaths and it will help. It will help. So Alna, deep breaths is good, but also have a go-to person. Then it will help you. I hope that answered your question, Alna.
Excuse me, deep breath and
The goal I told there should be one person who knows everything about that event, so that when you are suppose you are stuck somewhere or suppose there is some issue, that other person can help you, with the resources or help you get back on track. So a go-to person, so another friend of yours or anybody, not necessarily at the event, but somebody who knows the flow of the event,
Okay, ma'am.
just so that, yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for your answer, ma'am. And I hope your query was answered, Alna. And I hope you don't have any more queries. And now, as a token of appreciation for Maya, ma'am, from our side, we would like to present her with a virtual memento. And for that, Mr. Ashwin would be sharing his screen now.
Wow, thank you so much. It looks so nice. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And now it is the time for thankings and appreciations. And for the vote of thanks, I would like to invite Mr. Eldo Babu, who is the Electronic Communication Coordinator of IEEE Edsoc Kerala chapter.
Akshay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Jada, we are able to hear you.
Hi everyone. Good evening. I'm Eldo Babu and I'm the ECC of Edsoc Kerala chapter. And today evening I'm entitled to deliver the vote of thanks for the event. I know I don't have to go in great lengths describing how truly enlightening or how practically helpful this event was. Mayanam, the event was very wonderful indeed. Even though the event was hosted online, I must say that she was able to share a piece of her energy to each and every participant present here. And
Thank you.
yeah. And ma'am, we are looking forward to attend your offline session in the near future, possible.
Yes,
And
of course.
yeah, sure. And thank you, ma'am. And I would also like to thank you, Akshay Aras, who is the MC for the event, and Gayatri ma'am as well to handle the event in between the technical snacks. Thank you, Akshay and Gayatri ma'am.
Thank
And
you, Jada.
also, yeah,
You're
I would
not
also
technical
like,
science, practical sessions.
yeah, in between the practical sessions, handling the practical sessions, yes. So I would also like to thank Professional Lexicon for arranging the event as well as the student Lexicon, all the student team, Dia, Alna, Akshay, and all the student team who was working behind the event. Thank you, everyone. And at the last, I would like to thank all the participants for attending the event. One small request: I would like all the participants to. I know all of you are leaders. Please share your valuable feedback. Yes, we will be sharing a feedback form, but we are also expecting a feedback maybe in the near future after hosting an event incorporating the tips and tricks that the mind has shared in this session. So, if possible, please share that feedback as well in the near future. So, it will be an extra mileage for us to host such kind of events in future. So, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for attending the event. Have a great week. Bye.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you, everyone.
so
Yeah,
thank you
nice
very much,
to
Jada.
have a session from Professor Maya Menon. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Okay, so
Thank you.
thus we have come to the end of our
Good
session.
night.
But just one minute, ma'am. Can I just brief about the other events of match? Uh, uh, okay, so thus we have come to the end of our session. But remember, this is not the end of match. We have our much awaited workshops on MicroPython and IoT. The online session on MicroPython will be held on July 14, and the offline hands-on workshop on IoT on July 17, which will be held at Sahridaya College of Engineering and Technology, Thrissur. And the session on academic research writing and publishing by our NP Subir sir, which was supposed to be held today, has been postponed. The new dates will be announced shortly. So, once again, thanks to all the participants for actively participating in this event and making it a great success. We hope to see your active participation in our upcoming events as well. And just a reminder, don't forget to fill the feedback form which is posted in the chat box in order to get your certificates. And just as Elder Babu Chetan said, when you host events in the future, do let us know if this session was helpful to you. You may share your experience in our student WhatsApp group. And now we have come to the end of our event. So thank you, everyone. You may all leave the meeting now. Goodbye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.